I'm very concerned that the advent of these AI algorithms, which boost things and they can target things. So here's an example. Let's say I was doing a new company and I was completely unprincipled. What I would do is figure out how to target each and every one of my users based on their individual preferences and completely lock them in with my false narrative. And I would have a different false narrative for each one of them. Now you say he's mad. And of course, I wouldn't actually do that. But the technology allows it, which means someone will try. We have to figure out how to handle that. Do we ban that? Do we regulate it? Do we sort of say that's not appropriate? The software is there. It's possible to be built today.
Because a company isn't doing that, but individual political actors across the spectrum are individually doing that presently.
Yeah, and again, we have to decide as a country, do you want to be a country which is largely anxious all day because everything's a crisis? And the reason everything's a crisis is because that's the only way to get your attention. In the book, we speculate that in the next decade, people will have to have their own assistants, which will be very tuned to their own preferences, that will say, this is something to worry about, this is a scam, this is false. In other words, you're going to have to, if you will, arm yourself with your own defensive tools against the enormous amount of misinformation that's going to be coming to you. There's a famous Carnegie Mellon economist, Herb Simon, who in 1971 said, it's obvious what the scarcity in this new economics is going to be. It's the scarcity of attention. And that's what we're all fighting about. And I don't know about you, but I'm overwhelmed by the current systems that want my attention. Imagine 5 years from now and 10 years from now, when the AI algorithms are fully empowered, they're going to be both addictive, but also wrong.
What I hear you saying is that in relatively short order, individual citizens, individual consumers need to have something on their side, whether that's an AI bot or assistant or what have you, because otherwise they just won't be able to navigate systems that frankly are psychologically much more capable of damaging them than they're aware.
The systems that we've built today that we all live on are basically driving the addiction cycle in humans. Oh my God, there's another message. Oh my God, there's another crisis. Oh my God, there's another outrage. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I don't think humans, at least in modern society, were evolved to be in an oh my God situation all day. I think it will lead to enormous depression, enormous dissatisfaction, unless we come up with the appropriate rate limiters. A rate limiter is your parents. Your parents say, get off the games. In China, the government tells you the answer. Parents understand this with developing minds, but what about adults? Look at all the anti-vax people who've become so dark-holed in a set of false facts that they can't get out of it, and they eventually die from their addiction by virtue of getting the disease and dying. It's just horrific. How do we accept that as a society?
You're kind of a creature of Silicon Valley. You know these people, you've lived among them. I mean, in your conversations with them, senior people in these companies, that know full well what's happening to society as a consequence of these algorithms. How do they respond? How do they deal with it?
So I have not discussed the internal Facebook stuff with my Facebook friends, but I will tell you that if you read the documents that were leaked out of Facebook, it's pretty clear the management knew what was going on. They have to answer as to why they did one thing and didn't respond to another. When I was CEO of Google more than a decade ago, we had similar but simpler problems, and we always would get right on them and try to sort of establish a moral principle for how to deal with them, and we did a pretty good job, in my opinion. When I think about 10 years ago, I want to be the first to admit that I was very naive. I did not understand that the internet would become such a weaponizing platform. I did not understand, first and foremost, that governments would use it to interfere with elections. I was wrong there. But more importantly, I did not understand that the now AI-enabled algorithms would lead to this addiction cycle. Now, why did I not understand that? Well, maybe because I'm a computer scientist. I went to engineering school. I didn't study these things. The conclusion in our book is that the only way to sort these issues out is to widen the discussion aperture. If we simply let the computer scientists like me operate, we'll build beautiful, efficient systems, but they may not reflect the at least implied ethics of how humans want to live. And that debate needs to occur today. I'm very concerned about national security, that what will happen is that there will be this compression of time where we won't have time to deliberate our response to an attack or a strategic move. I'm very concerned that our opponents will, for example, launch on warning. They'll actually have an AI system decide to enter into a war without even having humans discussing it, because the decision cycle is too fast for everybody. These issues have to be discussed now, and they have to be discussed between nations and within the nation. Again, China, as an example, and I'm not endorsing them, has a law around data privacy and has a new algorithmic modification restriction law that is in process right now. So they're trying in their own way to do it their way. What's our answer? What is the democratic answer?